All right, both players are ready. Fractal and Sidnev are here in the CTM Masters January 2024 finals. Thank goodness it's finally coming to a close on February 10th. Let's go 3-2-1 Tetris. Of course, most notably, this is a rematch of the 2023 Classic Tetris World Championship Finals. And listen, I don't want to go spoil that for you guys. I mean, it was, about 6 months ago. So maybe some of you haven't seen it or don't know. So I don't want to spoil that for y'all. Just in case you haven't seen it. Of course, Fractal, our original CTM Mega Masters champion, as well as our Lone Star champion. That's our live championship. So at one time, oh no, Fractal getting up high on the board. This is tough. And that's going to be a top out. Sidnev, game one. Drought to start off the game. And Fractal is good. Fractal Sidnev, game two, 3-2-1 Tetris. A 35-piece trout. Both players here in the finals. Our prize pool up to over $2,500. Our first place player will take home 45% of that. Our second place player will take home 27%. It's pretty good. It's a lot of money for playing Tetris. I want to thank everybody who has helped reach that. Sidnev up high on the board and another top out here early for Sidnev, kind of stacking high. Columns 5 and 6 just created an S spire and then couldn't get that Z, tried to get that Z over and couldn't do it. And that's going to be a top out. Fractal is good in game number 2. All right, both players are ready in game number 3. Fractal up a quick 2-0 over Sidnev. Let's go 3-2-1 Tetris. Sidnev looking for that reverse sweep script. Sidnev ahead with the 1-point lead. So far, advantage Sidnev in game number 3. Tetris Sidnev. There's a bar to the left for Fractal, no problem. Long bar and another one to the left, and all is forgiven. All right, double tuck of that J piece to make it into the stack. Fractal was getting a little worried with that spire, O spire. Column 7-8. Fractal set up for the dirty, trying to keep it open. Taking the skims. And getting droughted again. And this is troublesome. Opens up that channel and gets the dirty Tetris. So Sidnev averting disaster there. Trying to keep that well open. Takes a skim, a couple of skims, and a very droughty, trouty seed here. Looks like Sidnev is going to be drilled back down to the bottom, ready to go. Setting up that long bar to set up that dirty Tetris. 150 Sidnev. There is a Tetris. 173. 212 Fractal. A little bit of a snarl over on the left side of Sidnev's board. We'll have to take care of that. Just getting a diet of S's, E's, and T's, not helpful. Opens up that right side, looking for a quick bar. Gets the bar over for the Tetris. That's going to bring the stack down a bit. 221. Opens it up again. Another Tetris. Now we'll have to go to work down stacking here. Quick little short stack. 291 Fractal. 253 Sidnev. All right, Fractal kind of like eek. I don't know what that emotion was, but it was kind of like eek. All right, Sidnev set up for the dirty. Column 8. 6 rows off the bottom. Have to take a skim. And there is, was that a dirty? I think that was a dirty Sidnev. Yes, indeed. Now 285. I didn't see the left side of the stack well enough. All right, we got a little bit of frames on my side, so sorry about that, viewers. Sidnev with the center well Tetris. And I'm just going to have to refresh one of these players. Just bear with me. Sorry about that. Close your eyes. There we go. Sorry about that. $395 Fractal, $336 Sidnev. There's another Tetris Sidnev. Fractal behind and by 8 lines on our screen. That's good. It refreshed black. It did not refresh white like it usually does. Double tuck of the J piece for Sidnev. That's a tight tuck right there. All right, Fractal making room for that T for the T spin, setting up the rumble tuck of the T spin tuck. Missed one of those earlier in this broadcast, but nails that one. I don't know. In my mind, I always want to call it a rumble tuck. I don't know. It looks very rumbly. $490 Tetris Fractal, $432 Sidnev setting up. One bar in Fractal, 514, 11 lines to go till the level 19 transition for Fractal. Sidnev just 3 lines away. Gruntiatus with the raid party is 7. Thank you, Grunty. All right, Sidnev piling up squares there in column 8 and 9. Able to bring this down a couple of rows. That's going to help. T-spin Sidnev. Fractal going to have an imperfect board going into 19, but it's still 19. It is still Fractal, so not much to worry about here. Uncover that right side. Good for a triple. Long bar in. There it is. 571 Fractal. 555 Sidnev, good clean board, and a good clean Tetris 580. So Fractal has sort of the pace advantage and the score advantage at the moment, but it's close. All right, Sidnev taking the skims, taking the Tetris 607. There's the T to tuck in for Sidnev and a long bar for the Tetris 662 Fractal with some work on his stack to do. All right, Sidnev with the skim and the Tetris 691. What's Fractal looking to do here? Okay, going to fill in the middle with that long bar. Going to continue. No, he's just going to bring this down, take that skim. Nothing fancy. But Sidnev getting out to a lead, 750 to 673. Yeah, perfect music. This music does seem to hit during the finals. Tetris Sidnev 811. Now with 140,000, now 110,000 point lead. Tetris Sidnev 841, Fractal 739, 100,000 point lead still. There's the tuck of the J for Fractal. Right, Sidnev gonna skim away with a double on that right side. As a perfect staircase for much of the middle of that stack. That is that can be very problematic. No great place for squares or other pieces really. So Sidnev gonna give up some of this lead. Fractal up to 832, just back by 30,000 points. There's a long bar over for Fractal. 864 momentarily was pretty much neck and neck. Now, Fractal back by about 9 lines. Fractal's board a little. Okay, get something over to that left side. All right, Fractal gonna make this board right. Opens it up just in time for the long bar and a Tetris 904. Fractal 938. 5 below for Sidnev on that left side. Long bar over Tetris. Sidnev just about a little bit less than a little bit more than one away. Now gets it. Sidnev with the great sequence of pieces there for Fractal. Sidnev has the max out and is into 29 pretty clean. Gonna set up for a Tetris with a delayed burn on 29 and trying to keep that well open. Gets a Tetris over A58. Fractal is in at A23. So Sidnev with a 30,000 point lead. Another Tetris Sidnev A98. Another Tetris Fractal Sidnev B36. Fractal's board kind of messed up here, and this is probably not survivable by Fractal. Even the great Fractal not going to survive. Fractal going to top out A38. That is definitely a non-intentional top out. No bones about it. Sidnev is good at B87. And any script believers, there you go. Oh, Sue is cooking. I smell food. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Tetris. They are fresh pieces indeed. Kuryava. Gruntiatis rooting for more Tetris. That can only happen with Sidnev taking game number 4. All right, Fractal gonna miss a spin there, but that'll clean up pretty easily, and Fractal is good, gets Tetris number 1. Sidnev, of course, with the 1 push down point per tradition. Who knows? It could be the deciding factor. Tetris Fractal 52,000 and another one 75. Matthew says, has Sidnev ever won by 1 point? Not in CTM that I know of. Miles Triss on YouTube says, "Yo, who can solve Rubik's Cube in sub 15?" So if you have a PB under 15 seconds, go ahead and put your Rubik's Cube PB in the chat, Twitch and YouTube. Or even if it's not sub 15. 166 Fractal, 205 Sidnev. And on YouTube as well. Doc Pie says 7.8. 5.5 seconds, wallband, seriously? Quartets has 10.3. So yes, we do have some sub 15ers. Sidnev 228, 170 for Fractal. My PB is about a minute and 57 seconds. I did it I don't know, 4 years ago. I haven't touched it since. Jake B says 38 years. I bet there are people who just have a scrambled Rubik's Cube in their home that they've never solved. And so I guess technically once they solve it, their PB is like however many years they've had that cube, right? Like they scrambled it and then it took them years to solve it. 342 Sidnev, Tetris for Fractal 285. Fractal, do not put your Rubik's Cube PB in the chat while you are CTMing. I don't know what Fractal was typing there, but do not do that. That is not allowed. Tetris Fractal 354, 388 Sidnev. Just mouth it. You can say what it is out loud. Fractal going for the delayed Vits. And it's not coming to fruition here. So it has a little bit of work to do to clean this up, which should be easy for a player like Fractal. Me, I'd be topped out already. Not sure exactly what Fractal's going for here. Still wants the Vits, I think. And finally gets it. 363. There's a Tetris Sidnev 439. Oh yeah, I wonder if lotion. I don't think lotion helps. with Rubik's Cube. I think it actively undermines your Rubik's Cube, I think. Unless you get it into the Rubik's Cube. .509 Sidnev through 97, so this is a big pace there. S spin. Another Tetris Sidnev 533. There's one Fractal 480. Here's Tetris Sidnev 603 through 117. So this is a Sidnev pace. I mean, Sidnev, kind of one of the earliest players who I remember just putting up consistently 600K transition paces. .626 Sidnev 572 Fractal after Tetris. There's another one. Sidnev 649. Two more potentially. Wouldn't quite be a 700K, but the heck. Close enough. There's one down, 672. 619 transition for a Fractal. And 696 transition for Sidnev. Sets up that J piece there, column 8 and 9. But again, a couple of Tetrises will result. 770 Sidnev, 692 Fractal. Gilded Lizard said, or Dex said, the indomitable human spirit always prevails. Indeed it does. As long as your spirit is indomitable, I guess just by definition. Because if it didn't prevail, it would be domitable. It's kind of a tautology there, Deck. 876 on 22 for Sidnev. 824 Fractal. Sidnev gonna nail that L spin. Takes this game and Tetris 905. Now 934 Sidnev, 851 Fractal. Sidnev locked in, sets up that Otuk Tetris 964. Basically one away and change from the max out. Huge pace. There is a Tetris Sidnev, 6,000 away from the max out. This is huge. There's a skim and a Tetris. Got the max out Sidnev on 24. I mean, that's going to be in competition. That's like a top 20. Top 10? Don't know. We'll have to ask Marfram. There's a dirty Tetris Fractal 981. He is one away on 25. So if you want to play a fruitful seed, you can do 920B10. All right, there's a Tetris Fractal A25. He's got the 1.1 on 26, almost the 1.2. And it's got the 1.2 into 27. Here's locked in. Tetris Sidnev C52, Fractal A66. There's Tetris Sidnev, so almost 190, about 186,000 point lead. Fractal with the 1.1. What Fractal's gonna do, just bring this down. All right, there we go. Fractal gonna try to build up that left now. Got one last one. And there it is, B49 into 29 for Fractal. Sidnev with a D31 and in. This is going to be tough for Sidnev. It's going to bring it down. It's exposing that right side. Long bar, where's the bar? Keeping it exposed. Gets a long bar over for the Tetris, but is the rest of this down stackable? Not sure. That's going to be a top out of D76. So the target is D77 for Fractal. It is all up to him. Takes a skim and a Tetris C45. The target is D77 for Fractal. Has got time. We'll see what Fractal can do. I mean, you can't, you know, Sidnev really did everything she could in this game number 4. Fractal has a lot of practice now, kind of grinding this level, switching gears. He's going to take that triple. C84 has 90,000 points to go. And now just about 50 lines to get about 90,000 points. There's a Tetris over D33. One more. We're looking good for Fractal. All Sidnev can do is wait and watch. Taking the skim, trying to set up for that last one. And long bar over, and the Tetris for Fractal, and Fractal is going to take the finals for January 2024. He is your champion in a rematch of the CTWC 2023 finals, able to stave off the reverse sweep attempt. Now let's see, is this going to be an intentional top out or a... You got to go for it, Fractal. Forget your fair median score. You got to go for it. I think that counts as a non-intentional top out. And Fractal is your CTM Masters Championship to kick off 2024. GG's Fractal. All right, yeah, get your emotes in there. Celebrate Fractal with your emotes. If you want to do VC, I'm happy to do VC if you're up for it. I just got to figure out how to do that. Hello.
Hello. It's me.
It's you, Fractal. Fractal, nobody cares about that small talk crap. They care about you winning Classic Tetris Monthly Masters event January 2024. You won a few months back though, right? So this is like you're just on a roll.
I did.
Now, how many have you won total? Do you remember?
Pretty good.
I don't know. You've won. Let's see, 1, 2.
It's a lot by now, actually.
Because I know
Like,
Dog is at 8.
5 or 6.
You're at 6, so you're chasing Dog right now. And are you gonna?
I'm not.
Are you gonna be playing long enough to try to chase Dog and then maybe chase Corian?
I mean, every month until CTWC. So not Corian, but I think there's a chance that I could go for the second place at least.
All right.
I've been playing pretty good recently.
All right, so I'm trying to remember all your matches now. If I go look at do you even remember matches at this point? You play so much Tetris. Do you even remember who you played in CTM, or you just?
I remember this. I remember the players. I roughly remember the scores, but that will not be the case in a month, I think. So.
Yeah. So so first Curie, right? So first you were in the bracket of death, right? The total game crasher bracket. Fractal 161 against Curie. You beat Curie. And I don't remember that being super challenging, although Curie a rising star. So certainly one of these days there's a shot at taking one of these down. You take on Pixelandy. That's tough. You take on Allenbot. And so you really had a path that was only 2 of the players are former champions. So it's not a super difficult path for you this month.
I mean, Allenbot kind of had like second highest fair median score of 2024.
Yeah.
Which is like means like he's getting like deep into kill screen like every time he could. That's kind of crazy.
So all right. So now on the subject of fair median score. All right. So you're stat padding. You're going for stats. What's up with that? Like what are you doing?
I don't know. I'm like, I hadn't really had an interest in this last year when the stats were really taking off because I was, to be blunt, kind of bad at the time, and like my stats were like I was topping out early all the time, so I didn't really think I could save them.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm like actually getting these like really crazy scores and like kind of trying to figure out what my new like actual skill is,
yeah,
I'm a lot more interested in like thinking about all the edge cases,
right?
Which I've come up with several.
So here's my question for you, Fractal. We have fair median score. It seems like a great stat to have, really good. But now we're keeping a leaderboard of it, and the players are aware of the leaderboard. So is it hopeless to keep a leaderboard because it can be gamed, right? It can be like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to have the pace for this one, so I'll just intentionally top out. What you're a mathematician. Tell me about what's problematic about this.
It's a little. There are a few like goofy cases where like I'm definitely like playing differently. But the thing is, this only occurs like after I've actually won the matches.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any player will like sacrifice like winning games to like try and pad stats and feel good about it anyways.
Right.
So I think like fundamentally it just like adds like a bit of extra spice on top of the normal stuff.
Right. So
but I think it's quite good. I think Scout and Marfram have put a lot of effort into it and it really shows.
All right.
Like it's a really, really fantastic product that we have, and we're kind of like really blessed.
Yeah, I think we need to have this kind of thing for the Tetris community to grow, right? I mean, every sport, you want to follow stats, you want to know leaderboards. I mean, you want to have debates about who's the greatest, and you can't really do that unless you have some seemingly objective, but probably ultimately arbitrary stats to argue over. So no, that's okay, good. Now it's not problematic. Fractal defending himself. So now we'll have to have a debate about whether Fractal is just giving tendentious arguments in favor of his behavior. So we'll see about that. All right, so we're coming up CTWC. You are, of course, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. You're the reigning champion of CTWC.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you'd reveal this.
I know. I'm so sorry. It was 6 months. I'm hoping that most people are aware of that who care. But you are the reigning champion. CTWC is a different time of year now. Does that change anything? And how are you preparing for CTWC? Because people still regard that as like the biggest deal, even though we know it's really Mega Masters. But go ahead. How are you preparing?
The main thing I think for this year is that it's going to be, I think every previous year there was like at least some way that I could come into the tournament as like an underdog type. I think prominently last year, I was like, of course, not even part of like Game Scout's top 9 or something, or top 7 in terms of like predicted people who could win.
Yeah, you had no shot.
And
really.
I mean, that was representative. That was like for the record, that was representative of how I was playing at the time. I improved a lot, like off camera, but That's not going to be the case this year because I'm playing consistently and I'm not only learning how to be better, but like how to like fix myself whenever I get worse,
Mm-hmm.
which is I think the ultimate skill. So I think there will be more pressure. I think I need to figure out how to handle pressure.
Well, I think you've handled it pretty well, and of course, playing in CTM all this time, of course, gets you some competitive reps, and then of course, your crash grind and your 10 million grind that has some pressure as well. I mean, wouldn't you say? I mean, you've got a 7 million game, right? Do you feel pressure when you're there, or you're just playing, or are you just zoned out?
I don't know. It depends on like how frequently I've gotten like long games. Like my approach to like getting over nerves is through brute force, which is just like experience the same crushing situation over and over again until it stops being as crushing.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that takes a lot of time, and it's maybe not the most efficient way to go about things.
No, certainly not. I mean, before you can do all the warm up you want on charcoal or whatever, or going, basically transition trainer statting at a color level. But there's really ultimately nothing on the line, and you're just practicing. But when something gets on the line, of course, that adds a whole other layer.
It's completely different, yeah.
Yeah, it's completely different. So right now you're at 8 points. What?
No, that's Andy. I'm at 6.7, I think.
Oh, that's trash. What are you doing? You're barely even.
Yeah. No, like
not even 60% of the way there.
2 million less. I can't even count that high.
Yeah, my goodness. But there is, of course, probably a good thing to promote here. The CTWC channel, Classic Tetris, is doing a race to, or what is it? Yeah, race to 10 million stream that happens.
Yeah, race to 10 million. That's been really fun.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like I don't know, what's that other show I've heard of? Monday Night Chasedown, except for like the world's best players and the highest scores. So there you go. They're stealing concepts yet again.
And it's on Tuesday. And it's on Tuesdays.
And it's on Tuesday. Well, we're gonna have to go right up against them and see if we can get Marfram to get a PB, because I think people will be tuning in for that. CTWC, that preparation, I'm assuming, is just going to just continue to get competitive reps and do your 10 million grind. You've got Mega Masters next month. You'd love to defend that. Yeah, you were the first ever Mega Masters winner, and now you want to be number 3. So how does this event even matter to you at all? You're just like, well, it's another CTM, or is this like, the stakes are raised a little bit?
It's another CTM with like a significantly larger prize pool, so that I find that interesting. Oh, but I don't know. I think long tournaments that drain a lot of my stamina tend to be my weak spots. So any opportunity to improve on that is definitely a welcome one.
Chad Gigamon says, Fractal, can you talk about genetics and heredity? Why?
I don't know. This is kind of it. I've been wondering if there is like genetics for like people who are better at rolling. I'm right now very inclined to believe not.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think there can be some genetic predisposition. I mean, to doing certain things with your hands.
I just find it so unlikely that like out of like everybody that exists, I have been uniquely blessed with the ability to like do like this with my hands over and over again.
Right. Well, here's the other. Okay. Here,
I don't know.
Yeah. The argument against the heredity thing is that, okay, we've got players who are in the classic Tetris scene, right? Hyper tappers. Nearly all the hyper tappers have learned rolling. So you would think there was a genetic component, you would think that only a subset, unless somehow tapping and rolling come from the same DNA, right? Like the same gene.
But they're completely different.
They're
completely different.
Yeah. So I tend to think that that it is learnable, but there may be some predisposition to sort of hand-eye coordination and dexterity and things like that. But I think it's learnable, especially if you're young. If you're old like me, probably never going to do it. But that's okay.
Well, of course, you know that my dad's been putting in reps for a while. He's gotten pretty good.
That's true. Well, your dad is like a world historical genius, right? So, of course, he's going to be able to.
Sure.
That's true. So that's good. All right. So, hey, by the way, coming back, to the tournament, of course, having to rematch Sidnev. What were your thoughts coming into the Sidnev match here in the finals?
I don't know. It is kind of tough. Like, obviously, like, everybody has their inconsistent moments, and I have a theory that, like, people tend to have more inconsistent moments against me. I don't know if this is supported by the stats. I've been wanting Markram to look at that, but apparently it's hard. But I don't like judging people by their least consistent. So
it's because,
and I know that just like Tetris is like crazy, like every time.
Yeah.
I think like was it a 1.3 into kill screen?
It was pretty
In the
darn
last game?
into kill screen. It was pretty darn close if it wasn't. I don't think it was a D, but it was pretty darn close.
I am
Okay, yeah, like that's
how I'm expecting.
like there's nobody in the world who's
Oh, it
like
was.
better than her.
Scout
Just
says-
like, getting those games
Scout says
out, like
yes.
in competition.
Yeah, Scout says yes. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
it was a mid 1.3. Jeez. Of course.
Defense, which is
And I don't know. I think going into that game, I was like kind of. I think my mindset was that I was hoping for a drought in early 2018.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm thinking like, what would be if I was in that position? What would be like the worst possible situation for my mental?
Mm-hmm.
And it would be like when I've been like Tetrising like crazy, getting like really great feeling RNG for a while, and then just having that taken away right as the game moves to its hardest phase.
So it's
Like that's actually just me.
like a
That's just really cruel.
So which makes
So then that actually happened, and I felt that there might be a chance. That chance ended up working, and then I kind of just tried to play safe. I was shaking a lot throughout that. I think you can sort of see that on my play. The rolling was a bit man.
Yeah, I did see there were a lot of misdrops, but able to recover. I mean, you've got a lot of practice now at the highest speeds, playing long and deep and recovering. So it certainly seemed to pay off here. Do you have any opinions on the drought trout? Any opinions on that being a thing, or no? Should I make a?
Is it going to be a thing?
It's going to be a thing. I got to make a trout emote.
We haven't had a new thing. I feel like in so long.
Yeah, so I'm trying to
Oh,
force
all
the
right.
issue, right? Good. All right, Trout gets Fractal approved. So there you go, Fractal. Thank you so much, and congratulations again, and good luck.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
Genesis. Oh, you're very sweet. Hey everybody, this is your old pal Vandweller, host of Classic Tetris Monthly, and I'm asking you to do me a favor. If you like this video, hit thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, please subscribe and bang that notification bell. And follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/monthlytetris. Thank you, and have a nice day.